Hello, everybody. It's 2 days off, and we have another project which I wanted to bring to you. We have concerts live on the Harp channel, and I'm very honored and pleased. And I think that all of you are excited to have as a first performer today with us, ALEXANDER BOLDACHEV from Russia, who is living in Switzerland, and who is really one of the really most important performer of the young generation in these days. And I'm really very happy that thanks to this situation we have, that he has time to accept my invitation and that he can really share with you music. He not only play by himself, but he also composes. So I am sure that we will have also time after he will introduce some pieces by performing, to have also chance to talk together and have interview, as we were used to have interview last time during the first Worldwide Online Harp Congress. So I'm very pleased and very happy that I can welcome for the very first online concerts on the Harp channel our today's performer, Sasha Boldachev. Welcome, Sasha.
Hello. Nice to see everybody. Thank you very much, Jana, for invitation. It was a long way. It will be soon 25 years as I play harp, and most of this time you was kind of inspiration, because people like you, that you show musicians like you, they show the way for others. They show that there is possibilities around, and so the people can really hope that if they work as much as you do, then they will achieve something, and they will have concerts, they will have very interesting life students, and that's very important. So I am very happy that you make this project. I'm very happy that you invite people, that you share a lot of and old stuff and new stuff, everything about the harp. I think that's exactly the time when we should really move, because the world moving too fast. And I think that I will play now something.
Absolutely, and we will talk later.
Yes, I will play one composition right now, and
I will leave you now so that I can let you introduce.
Okay, thank you. So one composition not really brightly presented around, because it's new and fresh, and just today I published that on my Patreon. So the music for the sheet music, the scores, and the audio on my account there on Patreon. So this is very new. I just finished to work on that, and I would like to share. The name of the piece is it's I was working too much today. I'm sorry. It's the composition after Chagall, after his painting, Triomphe de la Musique, so the triumph of the music. And it's inspired by Chagall, and I love Chagall. I have another composition dedicated to him. So this one is totally inspired by one painting. So you can Google while I'm playing this painting, Triomphe de la Musique, and then you will see the connections. Thank you. I don't hear you. I don't hear you. You need to turn on the mic. I think nobody hears you.
I'm sorry.
Now.
Now you can hear it. So I wish that everybody is clapping you because you really deserve it. It's great, fantastic atmosphere. We have already there one commenter, cool, which is really, it was really having a wonderful feeling, like of a good atmosphere. Can you tell once more what was that? That was the Triomphe de la Musique, the composition inspired by painting by Marc Chagall with the same name. It's a huge painting, so you can find that in the internet. And I think that this composition is a little bit out of the normal genre. It's kind of more like populistic music, like more like a pop classical, so with the melodies, with more simplified harmonies, but there is still a lot of from Impressionism. So I tried to mix different things to put them all together. And I hope to make, just now I'm finishing another composition. I'm not ready to play that yet, but once I played a small part on the Instagram, and I made, in these 2 months, I made 23 videos on Instagram. So one of those videos is the part of this composition, and next composition is also inspired by the painters, but this time is more in direction of Matisse, and so I'm trying to get inspirations and put it out on the page. It's absolutely fantastic. You are really one of the few. I really don't know from the classical harp world or from the young generation that there would be so many harpist composer. I have had one also student, Victor, who was also able to make the compositions, who was also composing the pieces, and he's also fantastic, both playing and composing, but it's so rare. And you do also some of the improvisation, and it's really absolutely fantastic what you can do, and it's really for us, like older generation, which is, like, to put it this way, it's true, so that we have seen that there are people who are coming with the new generation with such a quality as, for example, it's you, and that's for us such a pleasure and such a wonderful view of that the harp will really still continue the best way, which I thank you very, very, very much for that. Sasha, what would you like to play now if you have another piece for us? Well, I have another piece. I just wanted to say that it's even not a problem of generation. Partly it's a problem of generation, because as we all know, before all the harpists, they were also arranging and composing. Most of the concert harpists, they were doing their own stuff. The problem is, I think, in the 20th century, and I was almost affected by that problem, that in 20th century we were studying the particular part of music life, that you are a performer, you are going to play in the orchestra and on stage, and that's it. You concentrate on that. And modern students, they are a little bit more flexible, but still not really. So that's why I'm teaching a lot the improvisation and composition as well to my students, so that they can start through very easy exercises, to learn how to get this kind of freedom when you're not afraid to check whatever it is, because I believe that the music has totally no rules, and whatever is makes sense in your brain makes sense for others. It's
like it's like giving just you can play random sounds, but if it makes sense for you, then it makes sense for others, and you just need to prove that this music has the ability to live, to survive. And next piece, which I'm going to play, will be exactly the improvisation. So just,
super, wonderful. Thanks. Looking forward.
Let's try to see how we get out from this pandemic thing, and let's make the name, made up name for this improvisation, something like let's say new normal.
Now you can hear me, right?
Yes, now I can hear you. Thank you.
Sasha, you are really, as I had, of course, you are classical harpist, and today you represent like more like not pop, but more like pieces which are more popular, to put it this way. You are also playing on the little harp. I have seen on the electric harp. Or tell me a little bit about that.
You know, I started to work, well, all the life I was supported by Salvi harps and Victor Salvi. And I remind again that this year is exact year to think about Victor, because that was 5 years just on the 10th of May since he passed away in the age of 95. And it's been 100 years since his birthday in March. So Victor made a lot. He developed the harp really a lot, and he helped a lot of musicians. I'm sorry, I'm repeating a lot, but really a lot is how you can describe his life. That's really a lot. Even 95 years, it's a lot. And Marco Salvi, who is now representing Lionel Healy and Salvi harps, he's keeping that way, developing the harp in different directions, making the new models, making the laboratory to find a way to improve the instrument. For example, this one is even, I love this harp, but this is the old generation of harps. A new generation is totally different. So it's good. And as I started to work with Salvi harps, then slowly I was integrated in different projects, and the new project was exactly this Delta harp, so electric harp. And so that was just spontaneous. It not what I was looking for electric harp, but I just got the prototype when it was made by Joris Beets. And Joris Beets is the harpist from Netherlands, and he is a jazz harpist. So he was constructing the harp for himself to make his jazz works and jam with his band. And so he was presenting that in Sydney on the World Harp Congress, and there where he met Marco Salvi, and they started to collaborate. So that's how this harp came to me. And honestly, I was working a lot with that harp on the stage with the DJs, or singing with that harp, playing different types of music, working with a lot of guitar pedals. So really, there was a lot of different projects with that harp, but I still think that the main project is still in the future, because I wait till it will be the right moment that I will find the perfect combination, perfect sound with that harp, and the perfect strings, because I always try to experiment with gut string, nylon string, or silk gut, or all these kind of strings to find what will work with the electric instrument the best. Because it's not like totally electric instrument, it still have reverberation. So it's wooden instrument, so it's electroacoustical instrument in a way. And so that's a work in progress, but I like very much to have this kind of cool attitude, to be able to walk. Just today I got the video from the theater piece in Moscow, where I was walking all the way through the stage with the Delta harp, playing that in the same time, telling the poem of Sarah Teasdale, written 100 years ago. So
that's wonderful. I must tell only one thing. It must be totally different to play on the Delta harp, because you don't have any stable place to keep the harp. You have it only on yourself, but it's still moving. So how did you learn to play on the Delta harp? Did you use just the same technique as you do for the classical harp, or did someone taught you how to learn how to play on that harp?
Oh, well, no, I got that harp without any instructions, and basically no instructions yet made. So I need to actually to consider that as the good challenge to put it on the paper and explain how to play on this harp. Because of course there are a lot of different types of electric harps, the Silhouette by Lan and Healy, or Blue by Kamak, or Delta by Salvi, and all of them are having different type of touching. But for me, of course, Delta looks much stable because basically it's on the knee. Of course, if I play a lot, I mean, if I need to play really something virtuoso, which you normally don't do on that harp, normally you use it just for the melodies and some kind of more particular music, like rock compositions, for example. They don't have all this technique all the time. They can have a guitar solo, but this is part of the piece, and then you have the theme, refrain, whatever it is. And so, of course, I needed to change the way you play. So, but it took me not so long time, or maybe I was, the same like you explained when you tell that you was just so affected that you were practicing 12 hours a day. So, I mean, all my free time I was spending with that harp. So, like, I was practicing, of course, for my concerts on the big one. And then as the free time, I was just trying different ways to play on the Delta harp. So that was first considered like a hobby, like a professional hobby.
So, I can understand it. But also, because I now will ask you like amateur, absolutely person who doesn't know anything about Delta harp. So I would like to know, how is tuned that harp? Is it tuned as because it doesn't have pedals, so how it's tuned?
The same C minor, like all this Celtic harp. So you can get all the with the levers, you can get all the tonalities. But I think that there is, and again, this is the thing which we are missing so many things in our harp education. Maybe it's only me, but as more I meet the students, as more I give workshops, I see that it's the problem around the world, because we have those levers, and this is also the harp. We never learn how to work with the levers, how to tune the harp in the different ways, so you can play different music on the lever harp. But even considering the concert brand harp, for example, few pop or film harpists which are working in the film industry or in the pop industry, they can tell you exactly for each tonality which glissando which pedals you need to put to make a glissando in the particular tonality. We never learn it. I don't know that. Well, I learned for me just to make improvisations, compositions, some of them, but there, for example, I mean, it's an open source. Jen Jennings in where she is in Florida. Jen Jennings made a book with all possible glissandos on the harp, and this is what we need to consider. I think that this is very interesting direction.
Absolutely. Because now recently I needed something like that, and I knew that exists like a school help, put it this way, like in a paper, like the size of paper, and there are written all the marks of the pedal settings, like on the diagrams. You can get it also. Everybody who is interested, I just search for it. for some students, and it's possible to get. It costs, I think, $5. It's very ridiculous because it's only one page, but still it's really very helpful. You can also download it from the internet, so it's very good to know, and it's perfect if the students can really learn it by themselves, because they can need it so many times in the orchestra, and for the improvisation it's really very needed. It's really fantastic to know.
Yeah.
And please tell me, Sasha, because I'm sure that you will play still more pieces, or at least one, I hope that you will still play. But I would like to, of course, not take too much time between, so that you will not take to relax now and you can more concentrate on playing. But just I would like to know when you started to play this Delta harp, because it's for the people who are not harpists, they can just only know that it's very little one. It's about 5 kilos only.
Yes, yes,
Or how many?
even
Yeah.
less. You know, they made the new one in carbon fiber, so it's the new one is even lighter.
Okay. So when you have concerts, do you use this harp also on the stage to show it, or you use only for particular concerts only Delta harp, and then for your solo recitals also only concert harp?
Well, you know, somehow in last years there were so many different concerts, and by different I mean all types of the concerts. And it sometimes there were just concerts with in the club underground, and I played only Delta and just improvising, playing my compositions, doing the things. Sometimes it was a part of the concert, so I have two harps, and this is. Like to show the possibilities of Delta, but more concentrate on that one. Sometimes it's integrated in different shows in the theaters, in Russia, in Switzerland, and well, I'm not so far. Like for example, Remy. Remy is doing a lot with Delta and with the rainbow, and there is a special rainbow made for him, and that's really nice. And he was playing on the Harp Festival Zurich, in with the festival I made last year, and that was really nice. That's the first time I heard him performing live, and that was interesting because I use Delta in different way. He works a lot with the laptop, with the pad, with the loops, with all the type of electronics, and that's really cool because it's a project, a big project, and that's what I think about for Delta for myself in the future. But I think that everybody, doesn't matter if there you are guitar player, harp player, piano player, it's very easy to learn Delta because it's much more understandable in a way that the string you can put it like Russian gusli, gusli, the Russian gusli, the instrument. So you can put it also on your knee like this. So you have strings in front of you, not like we have the vertical. You have them all horizontal, so you can see everything what you do. You can really work directly with the computer. You just need a jack, and you put it in, and so it's really easy to learn. And I know that the soloist of One Republic, this group One Republic, very famous, he has a Delta harp for him, and there is few DJs around the world using Delta harp to make this string sound for their compositions. And I really think it's a good idea. Unfortunately, I'm not a DJ. Well, I know how to work with Ableton Live and all this software to create the music, but I'm not so much advanced to make a professional track. So I think like if there is in our audience there in the internet, if there are some people who have knowledge and possibility to create any kind of electronic music, this kind of harp, I wouldn't say like it's a publicity for Delta, but I say any kind of electric harp. I just speak about Delta because it's easier to put it like this. So, but it could be a good solution to integrate the harmonies, the melodies, and well, it's really a pleasure to work with that instrument.
No, exactly. You took my question actually, because I wanted to ask you if you are doing the same kind of helping with the electronic, like the echoes and these kind of things, which Remy is doing. So you already answered my question, which I wanted to ask. So you are going to do these projects in the future. You want to progress as well for this in the other projects of yours.
Well, the thing is that we went a little bit different directions, because I started to work with the pedals on the board. So, guitar pedals, and I have around 15 pedals, and they are quite expensive. One guitar pedal with effect pedal can cost from 100 to up to $450. So
Wow.
it's a quite expensive thing, and I was working with them. And Remy went mostly straight away. He started to work with the pedals and with the big board, but he started to develop more in the digital without the analog. And so I was a little bit like old-fashioned in that way. So I stuck in those many different things. And so I lost a little bit of time. It's frustrating because when this thing like loop is not working, or some pedals are not doing whatever they were doing just 5 minutes ago, so it's a little bit frustrating. So I need totally to recharge and reconstruct the idea of how I work with Delta. But I can tell you that in these 2 months I prepared 2 tracks with Russian DJ, and they are made with Delta. So very soon you can see what exactly which direction I want to go, and you can also share it if you wish to show what the harp can do in the electronic music. I can send it also for the harp channel.
Absolutely. We are certainly waiting for that. I will be very happy to have that and to be one of the first to share your new projects, because you have also your platform where you also make concerts, and you have also your platform where you do interviews. Can you tell a little bit about that? It's how that's called, crowned. I don't know how. Yes.
Well, yes, I can tell about it. So I started to search the right place to make all these interviews, and like you, I mean, you also try now you're using also kind of a streaming app, which is good. It works smoothly, and that's good. So good research. And I went to Crowdcast just because it's connected to the Patreon, and that's what I was telling you in the beginning of the video. So I think, and this is the tip for a lot of musicians, that now normally we consider the work with the online resources as like you go to Instagram or YouTube, you get a lot of followers, then you get the videos which are having like 1,000 views, 500,000 views, and then you make a publicity on those videos, and you sell basically the publicity. So you create more publicity to get money back, because mostly these videos are free and you get money only on publicity. And now I think that the new way of working with subscribers is much more interesting, because you're not creating more and more publicity, because publicity I really hate it, and I really think that we need to save our ears and brains from this amount of publicity. So I went to the other platform, which I now have on my Instagram, and everywhere I put the same link. It's Patreon. So what you do there, you give your subscribers the content which is exclusively for them. So for example, like you make arrangement, or you make a new recording, and you make it available, or you make a pre-release, but only for those people who subscribe for you. So they are paying not Google, they're not paying anybody to make a publicity, they're paying directly you, so to motivate you to create more stuff. So that's what I'm now doing through that platform. So on the Patreon, I put my sheet music, the audios, and creating like a big content library which will be available for the subscribers. And I think that if now the artists, they are looking for a way to present their works, I think that could be a good idea for them. So I really recommend them to work, or if you are not creating the stuff, so you can maybe support others. I would say maybe me or maybe others, but you can really support with the subscriptions because they're very small, actually. Yeah, so that's the thing which I think about the online platforms, because now it's really important. I don't think we will get this time really fast. I don't think so, because like countries like Brazil or Russia, they even didn't reach their peak, and and Mexico and basically all the Latin America is even raising up. So knowing that it's very difficult to lock down everything, so there will be, I think, like second, third wave. Maybe it will be less, but to get to like our normal life, what we consider normal, I think it will take a lot of time. But I personally think that it's very good. It's because we have possibility to be creative, to find new ways to live our lives, and it's always good, even if it's very difficult. It's very difficult with financially, and there is so many people suffering now financially. I cannot imagine. I really even try not to think about that, because it's very painful. Like, for example, you have a restaurant which you was developing all the life, and now you cannot afford it anymore, and you need to close it. And the same with musicians. I mean, but we are more flexible in a way, because okay, I was developing the solo career. I was not really selling my music, not selling anything, and now I need to reconstruct my life, and it's good in a way, because playing the concerts, it's basically the easy way, but you are not leaving something for the future. You're just making this kind of attraction once, and then you go another place, then another entertainment, but nothing for the future. So I think that's the way now, the moment to be creative. So that's.
Yeah, and you are really creative as well. So it's you really make new music. You make new transcriptions, and you play really wonderful pieces by Russian composers. Put it on the other part of the music, not as a pop music, but really classical music. You do many transcriptions of I don't know, Tchaikovsky, of the really big composers of Russia. And what is your new project now for coming up? What is totally new, what you have not performed yet? Is there anything?
Well, right now I work on the Rimsky-Korsakov piano concerto, so I cannot perform that.
No, I understand. No problem. No.
Yes,
This was not like that.
But honestly, there are a few pieces which I work right now, and they are not ready, but they are also Russian. So it's three compositions. You will love this three, because it's Rachmaninoff, the Prelude in C sharp minor. Then it's Tchaikovsky, Dance of Plum, yes, Fairy, yes. What's the name of that in English?
Flower.
Yes, no, not the flowers. The Dance of the Fairy, this plum. How you name it in English? I forgot. I was saying in Russian. It's Танец феи дрожжей. I totally forgot how. Sugar Plum Fairy. Yes, Sugar Plum.
Yes, all right.
Yes, and it's also from Nutcracker. And the Mussorgsky, the Baba Yaga, from the pictures of the exhibition. Yeah. So that's the three compositions, which are from very different composers, but they work so good together, because Rachmaninoff, Tchaikovsky, and Mussorgsky, they use same harmonies, the same ways of rhythmical structure, same atmosphere, but it's totally different, but it's all connected together. So those three will be also in the next project. And
Fantastic.
of course, I have Shostakovich and Prokofiev and others. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I admire so much. I heard, of course, Prokofiev. You played Petrushka, and these pieces. I mean, just people think that it's not playable on the harp, but it's so beautiful. And of course, is it your own transcription, or you take the pieces from the piano?
Well, the work is very different. If I'm lucky enough, I'm lucky enough, I take the piano scores and there is nothing to change, or there is a small changes, so I do them with the pencil and that's it. If I'm not lucky enough, then I want to make a fantasy like Scheherazade by Rimsky-Korsakov or Petrushka by Stravinsky, then I take the music and I take the partiture, orchestra, and I start to see what I can do, what I can take out, what I can add, and so I work with very different music, with the orchestra parts, with the piano reduction, with everything, in order to create the full story around the music. I'm not trying to follow every exact note. So just to took the most important. And the same way, and I need to speak about that maybe in other video, which I hope to create, because right now I also started to make, well, I'm taking too many projects, but well, I have now more time to do them all. So right now I'm also writing down, finally, I was promising, and I feel so bad, I was promising that for over a year, I was promising to start working on the method. I was promising to start writing down all the experience, the stories and everything to create this book. But, well, it's very difficult to start. So now the same thing I motivated me, just saying that, okay, guys, I will put a part of this book every month on the Patreon, so you can subscribe and you will read every part. The first in the world, you will get every part, and that will motivate me to write. And that, like, basically they are subscribing to motivate me to write. So I give them like a fresh material just every month. So I hope that will work. I'm sure. Well, I have no choice now because I already announced that, but. What I wanted to say, that I'm sure that I will put there also the part of working with transcription, with classical and with pop music, because with the pop or rock music, it's totally different story. Then you cannot even work with any kind of piano reductions or anything. With the pop rock music, you need to listen to the composition and get what is the core because you cannot play, of course, for all the instruments and so on, but you can, like, for example, you can play just one drum, one chord, one drum, and then the listeners, they will get also the drum structure. They don't need, they don't need all the drum structure, but they need just partly to hear that, and the, brain imagination will put it back, especially if they know this piece. And in the same time, you can find the bass line, you can find the additional tones, you can find the way how to reproduce them. And so it's good. Like, for example, I was just doing in the maybe you saw that. Oh, sorry. So in the Bob Marley, so there was a lot of drums, but sometimes, and so I was trying to mix that all. I'm still working on that, but on the Instagram you can find it, the 1 minute version. So that's basically a long answer, but well, I hope it's useful also for all the people.
No, of course, anything is so useful for anybody, and of course, so interesting to hear. And also because you, as I said many times when we were talking, you are composing your own compositions. Do you have also your edition where the people can see your music, where they can buy, they can order, or do you have it on your website, or where they can download it, or where they can get your music to see and play?
The same place. I'm working now to put everything on that Patreon, and people can find it or through my Facebook if they look on the Facebook the links, so they find the Patreon, or my Instagram. Also, the link is to Patreon, or just look on the patreon.com for my profile. But the main idea that they subscribe, so they've like a monthly the monthly cost, but every month I upload new compositions. So it's it's like motivation from the both sides. So they are getting music every month, new music. They have a subscription, which motivates me to work, because it's like I put myself on the hook. Like I already, it's not like I will put this composition on my website and maybe once in a while in a year I will put another one, because they pay the money not for this particular composition but for my workflow, so to support it. And that's what I think. So now I just made the post on the Facebook, so that I have now there this Triumph de la Musique, which I was just playing. I have a Bohemian Rhapsody, which I can play the next one. I know that I play that every concert, but every time people ask, "Can you play that?" And so I say, "Yes, of course." So, and I have there the Prokofiev, and like really nicely done. There is also some. Now I do also easier versions, or I put the, how you name that, around, how you name these things in
See,
English, when
the
you, which,
round? No,
yeah, well,
just
yes, well, you, well, some notes I put in the rounds, and
Oh yeah, 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 you mean this. Yeah, okay. Brace this. Yeah.
brace,
In,
exactly, brace, exactly. Yeah, so I put the note in the braces so people can just leave it, and it will be easier to play, because I understand that some of the things are, it's easier for me because I do that for 25 years, and some people, they just want to play the music without having too many problems. And, I know what. That's what I didn't play, because Bohemian Rhapsody I played a lot and everybody knows that very well. But now I have also there a transcription of Game of Thrones music, and it's also written down. It's recording, and it's the sheet music also on Patreon, so I can play now actually the Game of Thrones music, and that
so
that would be.
if you propose this piece, but you propose before the Bohemian Rhapsody as well,
Okay.
I would like to ask you to play now that piece, but then we will a little talk, and I would like you to play the Bohemian Rhapsody as well, if
Okay.
it's possible.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds
Excellent.
good.
So looking
Okay.
forward.
Thank you.
picture again. Many people are clapping and many people are happy to hear the music live from the Harp channel. As the first performer ever, we have today live Alexander Boldachev, Sasha, as we call him, of course. Sasha, I want to know, because I think that everybody would like to know. Even they can read it in your biography and everything. I think that when they will hear your own really personal experiences, how did you start the harp? Why did you start the harp? If you come from the musical family, and what instruments, other instruments did you play, and who was your teacher, and so on. If you can just tell a little bit about yourself from your personal side.
That's been a long time. So I come, of course, from the musical family, and my mother is a pianist. She's a professor in the St. Petersburg Conservatory, and I think that uh, her her job and her teaching, because she was studying with me in the childhood, and uh, everything what was around me gave me those possibilities. I would say that I'm lucky. It's more like it was just by chance that there are two main musical parts of the music. She is the professor who works with the accompaniments, so with accompagnators, so the people who work with the soloists, the singers. So she prepares those pianists, with a lot of sheet music partitures, which are working in the operas when the singer comes and there is a new opera to learn, and they start learning, and the pianists need to know everything, where he breathes, which language he speak, how he pronounce, and everything, and and play with any tempo, any tonality, because and that was really really important. So the piano and singing are for me the core of the music. So as you also playing the piano, and as everybody, with Catherine Michel is playing the piano. Judy Loman was starting as the pianist. She switched to the harp. Everybody. And that's important. I would say that the piano, even I like the harp very much, the piano is the bread and butter of every musician. If you're not playing the piano, you cannot really get what. And of course, the singing. Singing is also the core. So I always sing when I play, when I compose, when I'm trying to learn the melody. Even if I play something like, for example, the Legende by Renier, this composition which based on the story. It's written like in an opera, and it's a long one. So when I play this composition, which has like nothing, no particular notations there, but I imagine that this is the character, and here the prince, I mean the knight who is going through the forest, he's the tenor, and the queen of elves, she is a mezzo soprano, and I always imagine that in my head. So when I play that in my head, it's a singing, and the singing is very particular singing, and so that makes this attitude, which is very helping me to represent what I want to represent on stage. So this is one part of my life, and my mother gave me a lot, like your did for you, and she's still helping me, and it was a really huge evolution, because in the childhood she had more power, so she was just keeping me practicing. Then in the middle time, like when I was 15, and like around that time, I had more power than her, so we were always in the conflict, because she was still trying to help, and I was just how to
Teenager.
say, I was a teenager, so I had this feeling, which I think most of the teenager have, that what you need to do better. You just need more time, but you somebody, mostly the teacher, you have more respect. But if it's your mother, you think like, oh my God, yes, I heard it for 1,000 times. Thank you very much. But now, when I teach, when I practice, I always hear her voice and in my head. So I always hear all these things, and now it's totally different way we can talk about the music very long. I can accept every time her critics, her comments, and so on, so on. And even if she's very proud of me, she always try to tell me something what I can do better, and that's really good. From another part is my father, who is the philosopher. So he basically gave me this belief that everything is possible. So because he was working as the designer, as the book designer, to make all this, how to say, to put the book together and construct the book. And then he was a web designer developing the websites, which gave him possibility to work only on his book with on the philosophy, because the websites work just on themselves and just bringing the money. And then he switched to the blockchain as the system architect. So he was making this kind of ideas, constructions, how to develop the smart project, some smart contract on the blockchain systems. And now he is working on the semantic system, which is the next step after the blockchain. So he's like a person who is totally involved in the digital world, but he is a philosopher. So that gave me also this kind of connections. Believe that he never teach me something like important, like particular. He always just teach me life, and that was really, really important. And I still have to say benefits from that.
We need this kind of part of life as well to be taught, and it's really very big gift for you that you had it at home already and that you were educated by that already from the childhood. I'm sorry, my dog is just not, she was sleeping all the time, now she awoke. So Sasha, also interesting thing, when you started to play, I mean, for me, I would like to be known. I would like to know from you about how do you feel from the public when you play jazz and when you play classical, that you do two different actually ways of playing. Does it somehow, do you feel some kind of, I don't know, not critics, but do you think that it doesn't hurt you when you play the pop music for the classical part of playing?
No. Music is music. Music is. I always say the same thing. Maybe some of our listeners already heard it. That the music is the tree, and there is leaves on those tree, and doesn't matter if you are in this part of the tree or this part of the tree, is the same tree. And for example, on the festival in Zurich, I invited Park Stickney. So him. He is an absolutely outstanding jazz harpist and really precious person. He's so funny, so interesting, and he played his jazz program. And then we played some music together. And how we did it? I was playing the Handel, like a normal Handel. He did that once with Fabrice Kiev. So I was playing the normal Handel, and he was doing the jazz variations around Handel. And then we did in the same way Chopin, but in this I was also doing the jazz variations on Chopin, and he was doing that, so we were all mixing together. So I think that there is no problem. It doesn't matter if you are the classical artist or a modern artist or pop artist. You just need to have knowledge. For example, I'm not playing jazz. I can make some jazzy influence in my music, but I'm not playing jazz because I know that there is a lot to learn, and I don't touch that world because that's really a lot to learn, to be particular in jazz. In pop rock, I'm not the expert, but I'm listening to to a lot of videos in the internet about the pop world, about how it's all created, about how to work with the harmonies and so on. And that's also important. So I think that you can make your way through different types of music, just picking picking the parts, constructing something new, and that will be you, like your field. And so that's what I'm doing right now. It's never end job. I mean, it's endless. I can develop more and more. But in the end, I hope that it's like this hashtag cloud, when you have one word and around that it's different words. So it's the same in my story. I hope that normally it will crystallize and the people will see, okay, so Alexander, or whatever you call me, Sasha, or whatever, is making that, and that what creates his world.
I can also absolutely assure you, if there are players so good as you are, it doesn't matter what they play, because it will be always good. So I really admire very much that you can do many kind of gender of the harp, of the music, and that you can play it on the harp, so that it's really very unique. And of course, this is something what is special. You have first to be a good harpist in all the way through, and you can play whatever, it will be always good. So that's the main thing, which is in your case absolutely clear. And that's why I think that's why I know that it cannot hurt you. I just was worried if you have not had any of the experiences that someone could have even told you this, because I think that it should not happen to you. So I wanted only to be sure that you go really good way, and that everybody is only appreciating both ways you are going to.
Well, no, I mean some of the people, they're telling that they like the classical part of my work more, or they like to listen more of the rock pop arrangements and so on. But yeah, well, I always say thank you very much for your opinion, but this is how I am. That's what I do. So if you can get both of that, and it's I mean, for me it's most important, and that's my best thing I can see from as a result of my work. If some people who were listening to pop rock or hip hop music are listening for some classical because they learned it through the same instrument, or people who are very conservative, or they listen only to classical music or something around that, because they think that modern music is not for them because it's too loud or too simple or too bad, whatever. And then they can hear that also on the harp and the same instrument. They heard just Prokofiev, and then they listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they think, okay, this is not so bad. Actually, there is the harmonies, there's melodies. Well, I want to listen to that. Yeah.
I think that really, thanks to your range, which is very large, can really rank so many different people. And I think that if someone tells you that likes more when you play that genre or this one, I think it's their way of thinking. So I think that it's perfect that you can really just get in connection with many people. And actually it depends also on the mood, what kind of pieces they want to hear. So it's really super nice. And because we stopped about talking about your past, I would like to know, who and when did you start, with whom did you start the harp?
Well, there were a lot of people around who were playing the harp at that time. So I started to play piano. Then the professor of St. Petersburg Conservatory, Asa Agassievna Varasyan, she just passed away this year, and she was 93 years old. Well, as most of the harpists, we have a long life. I don't know why, but that's really so. And so she proposed to my mother to try the harp. And my first teacher was Karina Maleeva. She made a lot of great students. One of her students, Marina Ganshina, just got the third prize on the Israeli competition. Then her student, one of her students is Alisa Sadikova, which we all know, the young Russian, and there is a lot of others who went through her school, because as we talk about that before, the first teacher who worked with the kid is very, very important. And then I went to different different teachers. I worked with you, and I had different workshops, but in the end, Catherine Michel just took me to her house in Paris, and I was living with her for a while, just coming from St. Petersburg, just leaving school, everything. Just, my parents were buying me the ticket somehow. It was not the best time in Russia, but anyway, I was coming to Paris, and then she was taking me home and working with me every day. And it was also very difficult because there was a lot of scandals, but anyway, that was very good. And then I went to Zurich to study with Catherine Michel. I went through all other experiences which are very important, like having a composers class with one jazz professor, Felix Profes, and more like a modern Matthias Steinauer, who is quite an important composer in Switzerland, and also conducting class with Mark Sochi, and piano and everything. What else? In the end of the studies, when I was already finishing, Catherine Michel went out, and there was a Sarah Bryan, and that was also very interesting, because it was just last 2 years in Zurich before my final diploma, but to get a fresh view, to get somebody who has totally different approach, different experience, that was a new fresh wave. So I'm very thankful to Sarah for everything what she done, and she's working in Zurich and having absolutely outstanding students. And yeah, so that was a long life, a long way to get different experience, and I think that was worth it.
That's fantastic, because you are very young still, and already having such a career at this moment. It's really, I'm so happy for you and so proud, because it's so wonderful that you can go this direction of promoting the harp the way how you do. And of course, during this pandemic time, you certainly lost a lot of concerts. And is there any just an idea or any view that some concert is already planned, which you know that will happen?
Well, today I got the final confirmation that there will be no concerts in China. Altogether, cancelled or rescheduled 38 concerts by now, so for 2020. And there is maybe Japan will go to December. I still don't know. We are still checking the situation. Syria, Damascus wants me again to come, and they have better situation as in the Europe, but I don't know anything what will be going. That will be in October. My festival in Zurich is cancelled. Well, it's rescheduled for the March next year, and I expect to have different instruments on that in March, if that will be fine. And also Golden Harp competition, which is supposed to be in September in St. Petersburg, is also cancelled, unfortunately. And it was a decision with Anna Makarova, and a good friend of mine, and she helped me a lot. And she's doing also now a lot of projects and the competitions on her side, so we can also check that. And I think that the next thing which is fixed will be in December. In France, I will play Mozart, harp and flute, and Debussy, L'Après-midi de Fond, hopefully. So I hope that France is now a little bit more advanced in that, and hopefully the France will work. But most of the things, like the Hungary and China and all other, Germany, Finland, went to the next year, and all the Russia, of course, because in Russia is now very, very bad situation. And it's not because we are like we have regular issues with the situation, the health situation. The problem is that we are not getting the right statistic, because it's like a heritage of the Soviet Union, but we need to have the positive news, and our country should be always the best. And if we have bad statistic, it's not good. We need to have good statistic. So, and it's very sad because they just basically covering the the deaths of the people, and this is no good. But I hope that we will be opened, and I hope that I will come and play the concerts. And the next one maybe will be in November in Samara, which I really hope, because I will also conduct, because I started to conduct just recently. And so I will also conduct a few things by Arvakar, by Sibelius, and also play my arrangement for harp and string orchestra, like Lord of the Rings and Depeche Mode and Saint-Saëns, Dance Macabre, Glinka, Ruslan Ludmila, and so. Some new arrangements. Well, I really hope that, because I want to play them. I have 15 arrangements for harp and string orchestra and drums, which are made, and I played just 2 of them. I played Star Wars and I played Prokofiev, and that's it. And
my God. And of course, I wanted to ask about this competition, Golden Harp, because this was my another and maybe last. I don't want to take the time of yours, and I would like to still hear the Bohemian Rhapsody. But I would like to ask you about this competition, because I know that you were really hardly working on it. You wanted to make it like coming in again, and you were thinking about the program. Is it really cancelled, or is it postponed for another time?
Well, I'm sure it's postponed for another time. And to all the people, I need to say, who were preparing already the compositions, that we will keep the program. Maybe we will extend it. So if you were working already on particular compositions, you can keep those, but maybe we will make even more choice. But the main point of the competition was first of all to have very different members of jury. So just 3 harpists and 8 other musicians, like composers, conductors, singers.
But it has been always in Golden Harp. It has been always like that, and I really appreciate it very much.
The idea of Anna Makarova, and this is very, very important part of the competition. And so the competition will be, I hope, in 2021 or 22, because I'm not sure that we will be able to start now preparing 21 when we don't know anything about the future years. So as soon as we see that, okay, that is stabilizing, we will work on that. The festival in Zurich is fixed now in the middle of March, and there will be more publicity for that soon. So I think that I will just keep working on my projects, on Patreon, on all these things and I hope others will also find their way, like you doing an outstanding job to accumulate all our experience in the same place, and that's absolutely amazing. I really appreciate that, and I will work to create new stuff to share. So that we work from different parts.
It's very important that we really try to do our best for our harp world as well, and for our future, and for the other harpists, and for everybody who are now in this situation as we are all. And Sasha, I really thank you very, very much for your time, for a beautiful speaking, and also your experiences and all you are doing. It's really wonderful, and I'm so happy and really proud of you, and I wish you all my best. And of course, I would love if you can play one more piece for us, which is so beautiful. And I also very much thank you that you were sharing your music together today with us. So tell us, you will play the Bohemian Rhapsody, which is your transcription, and I will, of course, only say to everybody, thank you very, very much for being with us. And I hope you have enjoyed it. And we will certainly see very soon, as there are some people who are already applying for being online. So I'm sure we will have wonderful concerts in the future again. And I'm so thankful that the first one was our Sasha Boldachev. And I wish you, Sasha, very, very all my best. Take care and have a nice day. So now Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody, yes. I'm very thankful for this possibility to speak. I'm not talking a lot since 2 months because I was in this lockdown, and basically the place where I live, that's my prison, very precious prison, I would say. I like that. I like that a lot. And yes, I will play the Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. Because I just published the sheet music, which are available on the Patreon. So I think you can just find me on Facebook, and you will see the link just in the first post. And you know what I wanted to do before I just start playing? I wanted to read. I want to read just the first. First few blocks of the Bohemian Rhapsody, the text, because I think that we normally listen to this music, and as we come from different countries, maybe not all of us listen to what's happening to the text. And normally, as if I listen to the people who are singing the Queen, like trying to sing together with Freddie, they sing like "Mama, na 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 na, da 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 da." It's of course, it's difficult to remember all the text, but just to see what is the core. So the text is: "Mama just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Mama, life had just begun, but now I've gone and thrown it all away. Mama, didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, as is nothing really matters. Too late, my time is come, sends shivers down my spine, body's aching all the time. Goodbye, everybody, I've got to go, gotta leave you all behind and face the truth. Mama, I don't want to die, I sometimes wish I'd never been born at all." Well, that's Freddie in his very particular style, but I think this is also important to remind that this is music not only about the fun, it's about the big fight inside, and I hope that will make more sense in the music. Thank you. I have also some kids. They have no school, and they just insulting me all day long. Before they were insulting me only on Sunday, and now it's every day. Well, I love kids. No obvious.
Bravo, Sasha.
Thank you very much.
Very much again. My big
Thank
pleasure
you
to
very much,
have
Jana.
you.
And big thanks to all the listeners. And you can really do everything. You can really do whatever you want, especially with this instrument. If you don't know how, ask me or ask Jana. but the most important is the wish, because really the wish makes everything. Thank you. Thank you, Jana.
And believe, absolutely agree with it, and the belief and trust and exactly the wish. I wish you also, Sasha, all my best, and hope that we will hear you in the normal way very soon as well. But we are very thankful that you are sharing your music and your really big talent with everybody. Keep going, and I wish everybody health and stay safe. I'm looking forward to see you next time. Take care. Bye.
Ciao. Bye.